Donnie Peoples here. The net is watching. Got my special guest here, the great Professor Griff. For y'all who don't know, a lot of y'all might be too young to know. You know, Professor Griff, the great public enemy, as y'all know. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that was just like the last of the righteous era on the tube. You know, ever since that era, it's been downhill. So you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? I'm glad to see you doing this thing still. He's still getting that message out to people like me that's still in their 20s so we can carry it on for generations and generations. So without further ado, because I know I'm rambling along, I want to introduce the man himself, great Professor Griff.
Peace, greetings. How you feel?
All right, my brother.
All right.
So Griff, for everybody who don't know, you know what I'm saying, we want to let them know what you got going on. For people who don't know, like I said, a lot of my viewers are young or whatever the case may be. Why don't you tell them where you coming from and what you got going on?
That's a good question, simply because a lot of times when you talk about where you came from, it's an era probably before anybody in this room was born. You understand what I'm saying? And to tell people how it was, it's hard for people to grasp the whole concept of being out on Long Island. We call it Strong Island. And we seen the trains coming, the Long Island Railroad coming through, and on the trains, somebody had tagged their name or tagged some graffiti or tagged some kind of message on the train, and we seen it go by. And we trying to figure out, okay, where's that train coming from and what's going on at the beginning of that journey for that particular train. So it led us to get on the train and to follow it back to the Bronx. And we kind of figured hip-hop was going on. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
How did Jersey know? The PATH train. How did all the trains and the subways that went underground and went to the Bronx, out of the Bronx into Brooklyn, Queens, Staten Island, Governor's Island, Reese Island, Long Island, went all throughout New York to let people know something was going on in the Bronx. That shit took 10 years. 10 years. We heard it. We seen the graffiti. We was hearing something bubbling under. We heard some things. But in order for you to understand and know and understand hip-hop, you had to be there the first 10 years. We understand a lot of us don't read. You understand what I'm saying? But this is for those of us that do. As a matter of fact, this is the reason why we have to communicate through this medium.
Right.
Because there's a lot of cats right now sitting back, watching some porno shit, lighting L's, you know, drinking and shit. That's like saying, yo, I ain't trying to read that, dude. You understand what I'm saying? So we got to put it on YouTube for them. And we see you. Right. We're going to get your ass anyway. Willingly or unwillingly, we coming for you. So you might as well just get and say, okay, well, they here.
So yeah, you're going to commit one way or the other. So, you know, moving forward, I know you got a new album coming up. I definitely want you to speak on that.
Yeah, definitely. It's called The God Damage, and it's with my band, The Seventh Octave. This is our second album. The first album is called The Seventh Degree. And the reason why we call it The God Damage is because we didn't want to give people the definition of the title of the album. We wanted to say to people that it's called The God Damage, and you determine what it is. I've heard all kind of definitions. Mine personally is, you know, we the gods. Person that's watching this, the sister that's watching this, she's the goddess. Do you understand what I'm saying? We need to recognize the damage that we're doing to the God self. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Hip-hop came from the essence of the gods and goddesses. Look at what we've done to hip-hop. You understand what I'm saying? So it's the God Damage. It'll be out 30 days from now. And I'm not asking people to go cop it. Shit, you're going to feel it anyway. It's that vibration that we putting out. You ain't got no other choice. I'm not being cocky or arrogant.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? It's something that we're going to put out there, and you're going to hear it one way or the other. Well, I got to use that shit as a frisbee at the family reunion or whatever, but you're going to experience it, seriously.
So, you know, moving forward, it's some other things we want to talk about. Obviously, this getting a lot of play now. It's coming to the forefront. People really wasn't aware of it. Even myself, back in the day when Pac did the album Cluminati, and I just thought it was just a catchy name or whatever the case may be. But now I'm aware. I'm like, you know, he was basically dissing the Illuminati. So I'm automatically convinced that that's who got him killed, just by comparing both of the names. But, you know, for the viewers who are not too aware of the Illuminati, what is the Illuminati?
Well, like real basic and like elementary teachings, the Illuminati simply means holders of the light, the torch bearers, the light bearers. Anything dealing with the light, because they feel that they are the ones that's going to lead the way into this new millennium. So when you see the light bearers, you're actually talking about this hidden hand, so to speak, of people who really truly control things. So when you hear the Illuminati, it's the illuminated ones, the light bearers, the torch bearers. And the prime example of that is when you see the Olympics. They take the torch through every city in town, every city, and it comes to America, and they pass the torch. That's a sign of the Illuminati. The Statue of Liberty is a sign of the Illuminati. Shell gas station. The shell is not an actual shell, it's a rising sun. MasterCard, because they call themselves men of towardness, those that operate between the rising and the setting suns, because they're sun worshippers and they believe in the light. You understand what I'm saying? That they're the light bearers. So they leave signs and symbols. I could take out a dollar bill and break it down from top to bottom, back and forth. You understand what I'm saying? These are the people that hid themselves, woven themselves into the fabric of every aspect of America. Politics, education, religion, every facet of America. I'm gonna keep this, all right?
Okay.
So like I was saying, right? When you talk about the Illuminati hiding themselves, here you have the all-seeing eye on top of a pyramid acting as the capstone. You understand what I'm saying? Inside, if you connect the dots, drawing out a Star of David, you'll see the word Mason. All right? But actually, the word Mason, if you scramble the letters around, is the ancient order of the Noble Mystic Shrine. All right? But not only that, see, they hide cute little things like that because they know that we don't know the symbols, symbology. We're not symbol literate. So when you read it further, it says Nuit Coetus, which is Latin, Novus Ordo Seclorum, announcing the birth of the New World Order. Well, shit, the New World Order is already here. This is about to play out. This is only worth 8 cents. So you brothers out there that's selling drugs and killing people over this, stop that, man. This is not even worth it. You understand what I'm saying? But we need to put enough of these together so we can buy some land so we can carve out our own destiny. Are you following me? You see the gentrification going on throughout every major city in America. They moving black people out. They taking over the inner cities. All right? That brings us to Haiti. That brings us to Hurricane Katrina. Are you following me? So these things are going on right before our eyes. But one interesting thing about the dollar bill. In the corner to the left of George Washington's head, if you fold it this way and this way, you'll actually see an owl that sits right in the corner, right above the number 1.
The Bohemian owl.
Right. Which is their logo, simply because the reason why they chose the owl is because the owl sees things in the dark. The owl is wise, and the owl always makes that particular sound called who, because we don't know who. Are you following me? Right. But the owl represents the District of Columbia. That brings me to your friend, not mine, Barack Obama. Barack Obama...
You talking about Barry?
Yeah.
What's up, Barry?
Barack Obama is the president of a corporation, and he's not the president of the United States of America.
Absolutely.
Their logo is the all-seeing owl. Now, to prove that, I always say in my lectures that if you find any watch ad in any magazine, the time is always 10:10. Why? Simply because the District of Columbia is designed 10 square miles by 10. That's the government, not everything else. That's what he's the president over. A corporation. What is a corporation's main entity that they buy, sell, and trade? You. Are you following me? You a useless eater to them. You a sheeple. Are you following me? Your birth certificate is worth $634,000. And this is what they use as collateral with Britain. And that's the only thing that they run in America. You're a human resource. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is why you have no right.
So for people who don't know, who runs the Illuminati? Who are the founding fathers of this whole demonic?
What I do is, rather than talk about the top of my head, is your dollar back. At the top of my head, I go to books like this, Bloodlines of the Illuminati. It gives you all of the families that are here, not written by a black man, not written by Griff. You understand what I'm saying? These are the bloodlines of the Illuminati. This is why Barack Obama, President Obama, is tied in via the bloodline. This is why Jay-Z said that he was sitting in Saint-Tropez sipping $20,000 bottles of Cristal with the Blue Bloods. Are you following me? So when you talk about a place like the White House, they're not talking about a physical place, they're talking about a bloodline. So we can call their names all day long, but until you connect the dots, as Steve Coakley teaches us, you don't know who's operating with who. All right, so Fritz Springmeier broke it down in this book, The Bloodlines of the Illuminati. And the average person, especially us, we're not going to go to the store and spend $40 and decode this and break this down and teach this to our people. But brothers like myself, I have to. And this gentleman, Tex Mars, wrote Codex Magica. All these signs and symbols and these handshakes and all this kind of stuff your man Jay-Z and the rest of these people are doing, they're decoded right in this particular book. They don't position themselves with these handshakes and these body movements and sitting a certain way. You see what I mean? They don't do this for nothing. All right? They do this for a reason. Look, are you following me? They're speaking a language to someone right past your consciousness. They're speaking an entire language, and until we become symbol literate,
I definitely want to get.
We won't know Codex Magica by Tex Mars.
Y'all make sure y'all check this out. I mean, like this glance, because he was showing me a lot of things. It's like, where we at here? All the different poses and stuff people do.
Right, and handshakes and whatnot. We got to understand why these people sit the way they do and send signals the way they do, and the whole language that they use, being a symbol literate. You understand what I'm saying? And we gotta understand that, because they're speaking a language right past us. A lot of people ask me. Matter of fact, Tavis Smiley asked me in my book when the cameras were turned off. He said, because I came to the interview on the Tavis Smiley show with books and newspapers and shit. He says, well, you can leave that backstage. I'm like, nah, I might need it. So I just kind of set it right there on the coffee table. But they made sure they didn't get it in the shot. Because if he was to go in on some of these things, I wanted to show them that this is not coming from me. God is no respecter of persons, man. God don't care who you are. The truth is the truth. Listen, if it starts to rain right now and all of us went outside, you think it's not going to rain on you like it's going to rain on me? God is no respecter of persons. When the truth hits you, it hits you.
So what is Illuminati's purpose in the industry, and when did they infiltrate the industry? When did this all start in the industry as far as music?
Well, globally, they want a total global enslavement. They want to control every facet of everyone's life, everything moving, breathing, thinking. They want to control everything on the planet.
Okay.
Now, I'm 49 years old. Before you was born, I was giving this lecture. You can go back into the archives and say, okay, well, damn, he was talking about the New World Order and the Illuminati a long time ago, which I talk about that in my book when I deal with the occult science. But it first hit me when a man by the name of Steve Coakley started connecting dots. And I already knew some things prior to that, but when he started actually putting it up and connecting the names with the organizations, with the people, to black people, in and out of music, in and out of education and politics, I said, oh wow, this is a lot deeper than I ever thought. So when I started actually putting up physical charts and connecting people's names, I said, oh, if it's happening with the World Council of Churches, with the Creflo Dollars and the TD Snakes and the Eddie Wrongs and them, then it's happening in music. And sure enough, when I started pulling the cover off of Sony, we started pulling the cover off of MCA and some of these major record companies at the time, it's there. There's a man by the name of John Todd. If you put his name in the search engine, he talks about, I should have turned that off. That's the Roots, by the way. You heard the Roots' new album?
Yeah,
bro. That's kind of fly. But anyway, John Todd actually talks about how they had a secret chamber down below the record company where they used to take your master, put it on the altar, and do rituals around your music.
I've heard of that. I've heard of that.
This is real. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when I started connecting the dots, it just hit me, man, like somebody cold cocked me. And I'm like, wow, it's right here, right in front of me. But then I was really shocked, to answer your question directly, I was shocked to see the Jay-Z's and the Damon Dash and these kind of people, their behavior wasn't like it was early on. They were strictly hood. Do you understand what I'm saying? And then I'm like, well, what is it about belonging to the Billionaires Boys Club that makes you change and get disconnected from the hood? Do you understand what I'm saying? I said, oh, they're taking the oath. See, the Illuminati, the holders of the light, infiltrated the Masonic Lodge. Now, for the Masons that are out there watching this, you don't know a damn thing about this. I ain't talking about your average Mason down the street that know a couple little handshakes and little code words. I'm not talking about him. He don't know anything about this. The Illuminati infiltrated. If you study Myron Fagan, the one who actually brought this information to light, he did a thing called the CFR. The CFR is the Illuminati in America. Myron Fagan. And he was basically saying the Illuminati infiltrated the Masonic Lodge and actually was the ones that set up camp in the Masonic Lodge and actually initiated some of these people in the Masonic Lodge.